What is this thing found plugged in on a bedside table of a fancy old hotel in London? The cable looks like it's from the 80s, and no buttons or any on switch. I have no clue what this could be for. Does anybody know what this is? It's a fire alarm for hearing impaired. You put it under your pillow at night and it vibrates if there is a fire. It's hardwired with the other alarms, and I guess you are in a disabled room. A few of these bunker-like structures were around the property of an abandoned factory in Huntley, Illinois. I'm assuming they were used for storage, or is that wrong? I've been to this place a few times over the years and I still have no idea what these structures are for. These things are solid concrete, with no doors and nothing inside. They go back about 6 feet or so, and nothing underground. The factory has been long abandoned, so I have no idea what it was used for. I thought these looked like little bomb shelters, but it's definitely not that. Have any of you seen this before? I'm sure it's in the Fenselfuse factory, a World War II munitions plant. These specific buildings are called explosives magazines, and would probably had a door at some point in time. The way they're constructed is to ensure that in the event whatever inside explodes, the explosion goes up, not out. By focusing the explosion up, you prevent it from detonating explosives in nearby magazines. Additionally, you space the magazines far apart enough from one another that, in the case that one explodes, the force of the explosion won't cause a sympathetic detonation in any of the nearby magazines. Source? I hold an active pyro license. What is this small nook in my bedroom closet wall? About 1.5 feet wide and 3 feet tall, as deep as the studs, with metal rods. The house was built in 1938 in San Jose, California, but I have only owned it since 2020, and I have no idea if this is original. Thanks in advance. It's a shoe rack. Here's an old advertisement. A lot of San Francisco homes built in the late 30s and early 40s have them. See how the rods are in pairs with a top one further back. You hook the shoe heel over the top rod, and the toe rests against the bottom one. Maybe you also have an original ironing board cabinet in the kitchen. Most homes have had kitchen remodels that removed them, or converted them to a shallow set of shelves for spices and stuff. What is this glass ball with a metal wire around it found in the basement of the house we bought last year in New England? It's all glass. It weighs probably about a pound. It looks kind of like a wonky sphere, and it is about the size of a grapefruit. I found it on a workbench in the basement of the house, built in the 70s. There are no marks or letters on it, but the bottom looks like it may have broken off of something. I thought it was black, but after I held it up to the light, it turns out the glass is blue. There are no holes or cracks in it, and I don't see anything that indicates there used to be liquid in it like water lines or anything. Any ideas? It's a fishing net float. A friend's father collected these, and they come in all sizes and colors. This one has a shot of where they've broken off the stem after blowing. These were usually protected with heavy twine or light rope, tied into a mesh around them so they wouldn't break when bumped. Norway was the first country to produce and use glass floats, around 1840. By the 1940s, glass had replaced wood or cork throughout much of Europe, Russia, North America, and Japan. These glass floats are no longer used by fishermen, but many of them are still afloat in the world's oceans, primarily the Pacific. They have become a popular collector's item for beachcombers and decorators. What is this wall-mounted wooden storage unit thrifted in Central Oregon, with a pull-down front that has dividers separating the hidden storage? No writing, logo, etc. anywhere on it. It's about 17 inches tall, 7 inches wide, and 4.5 inches deep. I have searched all over the internet for anything similar using many combinations of keywords and haven't found anything even close. Any idea what this is made for? It's a 1970s fold-out recipe card holder. My mother and grandmother had similarly styled ones. It is designed to be wall-mounted. Use the knob to pull down the holder and all your recipes are at your fingertips. There are 4 to 5 removable wooden partitions to section out your recipes into 5 to 6 sections to make finding them more convenient. What is this metal object bought secondhand? My son got 2 of these as a present, bought at a local recycling station. Roughly 10 centimeters tall, with no markings, no holes for screws, or any kind of way of attaching it to a wall, may be made of brass, and weighs 200 to 300 grams. Google Lens gave no good answers. Any ideas? It's a fancy napkin holder, made in India in the 1950s. Here is a similar pair listed as footed brass napkin rings. What is this metal container with a slot at the end, potentially from World War I or II, found in my great-grandmother's attic in France? It weighs 100 grams and around 9 centimeters long and is 3 centimeters wide. It has a slot on the end that is 1.5 centimeters long and has 57922 written across. Any information would be greatly appreciated. It's a container for a French Chassepot Model 1866 rifle tool set, likely pre-World War I. It's extremely rare now. These tool sets have never been widely available. The slot would have held the blade of a 2-sided screwdriver, and the opposite end was an oil bottle. The case serves as the handle for the screwdriver blade, and the oil bottle closes one end of the handle. What is this, some sort of vintage lounge or cocktail chair with a hole in the seat that reveals some sort of motor or device? And there's a cord that you can plug into a wall. My neighbor put it out, and I don't know what it is. Any ideas? It's a pelvic seat warmth, and it's Korean. Here's an advertisement for it. 2001, or $1.30 for 10 minutes per session. By applying pressure to both pelvis and waist, with 3 levels of pressure, it massages the pelvis and waist to relieve pelvic distortion. What is this magnifying brass inspection holder thing with a light socket? My dad gave it to me, but I can't figure out what it is or what it does, and he's been wondering what it was also. About 6 by 4 by 3 inches, and it looks like it might hold something on the one end. It has a small light bulb socket in between the holder and the magnifying glass, a toggle switch, and battery storage below. The detail on the holder piece looks to be leaves, and it has a small loop of metal on one side. My guess is that it is used to inspect something round, but the holes on the front are connected internally to the battery. Any ideas? Please let us know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.